So in this video, I'm going to review the general equation of a parabola, which looks like this, and its vertex is hk, where h is this point and k is that. So I'll get to this, the basis of that, and first I'll start with the most commonly tested parabola on the SAT, which is y equal to x squared. If you draw this, it passes through the origin when x is 0, y is 0. This is the x-axis, y-axis. And it opens upward, because you'll notice that y will be positive for all values of x, and it's symmetric about the y-axis. So this is y equal to x squared. If you were to draw y equal to minus x squared, that's just a reflection of that. It's identical, except each value is negative. So that's the most common one. It always passes through the origin, something you need to recognize. And the other variation is, if instead of y equal to x squared, if it's 2x squared, what happens to the graph? So if you look at, let's say this is y equal to x squared. We notice when x is 1, y is 1, so this point is 1, 1. Now we want to plot this graph, y equal to 2x squared. When x is 1, now y would be 2. So the value would be, corresponding to that point, would be higher. And for each of these x coordinates, the value of y would be higher, and so it's actually going to become narrower, something like that. So if the coefficient of this x squared is greater than 1, the parabola narrows down. And instead, if instead you were doing y equal to 1/3 x squared, it will actually flatten out like this. So that's the key thing to recognize, is if a is greater than 1, actually let me redraw the basic one, which is y equal to x squared. A is greater than 1 and your equation is y equal to ax squared, then it would look something like this. And if a is less than 1, it would look something like this. So this is also a common parabola equation that you would encounter on the SAT. So that's as far as changing the coefficient of x squared. Then there are shifts, meaning the parabola is shifted right, left, or up or down. So again, I'll go back to the basic parabola y equal to x squared. And we're going to look at what would happen if I add 3 here. In this case, each of the y coordinates that are corresponding to those points go up by 3. So the parabola just shifts up 3 units, and this point is 0, 3. So the entire parabola shifts 3 units upward. And if you were to subtract x squared minus 2, it would shift 2 units down, something like that. Then there's the other shifts that have to do with horizontal and vertical shift. So again, we'll start with y equal to x squared. If I were to shift this to 3, 0, meaning this is the new vertex, what would be the equation of this parabola? And it's going to be x minus 3 squared. So when you shift to the right, this is probably a little bit counterintuitive. Shift to the right, this is actually a negative. You can see one way to check that is that when x is 3, for this parabola, y must be 0. And if you replace x with 3, y is indeed 0. So we're shifting to the right, that would be x minus 3. If you're shifting 2 units to the left, here the equation would be x plus 2 squared. So these are all horizontal shifts. So we have horizontal, vertical shift, and then the parabola itself becoming narrower or wider depending on the coefficient of x. So if we now start with a general parabola, so this is y equal to x squared, and I say y equal to ax squared is now a general, some other parabola where a could be greater than 1 or less than 1. And now I shift it horizontally to this point. So essentially we have a shift of h units to the right. And so this would be the new vertex. The equation of this parabola would be y equal to a times x minus h squared. Now if I shift this up, something like that, and by, say, k units, now the vertex would be hk, and the equation of that parabola would be y equal to x minus h squared plus k. So this is the general equation of a parabola. And the quantities you need to recognize here, the vertex is hk, and then a is the coefficient that determines if a is positive, then it opens upward. And then also depending on if a is greater than 1 or a is less than 1, it would be a greater than 1 would be narrower relative to y equal to x squared, and then a less than 1 would be more open. And if a is negative, it opens downward. So some of the questions, you might be given the equation of parabola like this: y equal to minus 3x minus 2 square plus 5, and might ask you something about the vertex, or maybe it's part of the problem. So here the vertex would be 2 comma 5. If the equation was y equal to 2x plus 1 square minus 3, here the vertex would be minus 1 minus 3, because the way you have to think about this is that if you were to rewrite it in this form, it's x minus minus 1 and then plus minus 3. So you then identify these pieces. So that's the sort of the general equation of a parabola that you need to be able to recognize on the SAT, and also be comfortable with the different shifts. As we saw, this was the horizontal shift, then you have the vertical shifts, and then whether the parabola opens or becomes narrower, depending on the coefficient of x squared. So those are all the concepts that you need to know. So that completes this lesson.